when you can't be strong anymore. You say, "I'm tired." Not the kind of tired that sleep can fix. Not the kind that fades with rest or disappears with a weekend off. It's a soul-deep exhaustion. A heaviness I carry in my chest, in my bones, in my thoughts. I don't want to keep pretending. Pretending I'm okay. Pretending I'm capable. Pretending I can hold everything for everyone, all the time. I used to be proud of being strong. Now it feels like a prison. Like I built walls so high to protect myself that now I can't feel anything at all. And the worst part, no one sees it. Everyone thinks I'm fine, reliable, unshakable. They have no idea how quietly I'm falling apart. I don't know what to do. I just know I can't keep carrying all of this alone. This soul. Then put it down. Just for a moment. Put it all down. The pressure, the performance, the expectation to hold it all together. You were never meant to be invincible. You were never meant to carry everything alone. Strength was never supposed to mean silence. It was never supposed to mean self-abandonment. I've watched you, all these years, fighting, pushing, surviving, hiding your softness so no one could mistake it for weakness. But beloved, your softness is sacred. Your tears are not failure. Your breaking point is not the end. It's the threshold. The threshold is something real, something deeper than endurance, something far more holy than perfection. What if this isn't your collapse? What if it's your return? You say, "But I don't even know who I am without the strength, without the control, without the role I've played so well for so long. Who am I if I'm not the one holding everything together? The soul. You're the one who's allowed to let go. You are the one who is still worthy, even when you're resting. You're the one who's never stopped being enough, even in your mess. You're not the role. You are not the mask. You are not the burden you carry. You are the space beneath it all, the stillness beneath the storm, the awareness behind the pressure, the light that remains, even when everything else crumbles. And I know, this moment feels like falling. But what if it's actually a descent into something softer, more honest, more you? There is strength in surrender. There is power in softness. There is grace in saying, "I don't want to be strong in that way anymore." You're not giving up. You're waking up to a new way of being, where strength includes rest, where love includes boundaries, where presence is enough. This breaking point is sacred. Stay here for a moment. Let everything fall, not because you failed, but because you're finally safe enough to stop pretending. When the armor no longer fits, you say, "I didn't even realize I was wearing armor. I just thought that's what life required." Stay sharp. Stay strong. Don't show too much. Don't ask for too much. It didn't feel like protection. It felt like survival. I thought if I stayed guarded, I'd be safe. If I stayed useful, I'd be loved. If I didn't ask for anything, I wouldn't be a burden. But lately, the armor feels heavy. It itches. It creaks. It doesn't fit anymore. I don't know how to take it off. I'm scared of what's underneath. The soul replies, "That fear is natural, because the armor became familiar. It became your second skin. You believed it was you, but it never was. The armor was forged in moments you were told it wasn't safe to feel. It was welded together with memories of disappointment, of loss, of being told that vulnerability was weakness. But now, you're remembering something ancient, that the strongest version of you is not the most guarded, but the most real. You don't need to rip the armor off. Just begin by noticing it. Notice how it makes your shoulders tense, how it hardens your tone, how it silences your needs. Then breathe. Breathe into the places that ache under its weight. Let softness touch the parts that have forgotten what it feels like to be held without judgment. Because I promise you, nothing real can be threatened, and nothing true about you depends on your ability to hold it all together. The armor helped you survive. Honor it for that, and then thank it for what it gave you, and let it go. You say, but who am I without it? If I'm not the strong one, the one who's always fine, always capable, then who am I? The soul replies, you are the one underneath, the one who feels, the one who loves, the one who longs for softness and light and truth, the one who remembers the scent of freedom, even if you've never fully tasted it. You're not here to be bulletproof. You are here to be alive, to feel, to grow, to open, to shine. Your strength isn't in the armor. It's in the courage to shed it, to show up raw, real, human, and still say, I am worthy, even like this. This is not weakness. This is power reclaimed. You say, but what if people don't understand? What if they like me better with the armor? The soul replies, some will. Some will miss the version of you that didn't need, didn't cry, didn't say no. But they are not your home. Let them go if they must. Let the space between you be a sacred invitation, not a rejection. Because the one's meant for the real you. They will come closer, not turn away. They will recognize the truth in your eyes and the peace in your presence. And most importantly, you will recognize you, not the polished version, not the performer, not the caretaker of everyone else's comfort, but the soul that has always lived beneath the surface, waiting for the armor to loosen so it could finally breathe. The strength in softness. You say, it's strange. Without the armor, I feel exposed, like the world can see everything now. And part of me wants to run back to the safety, to the image, to the illusion of control. But part of me wants to stay here, in this tenderness, in this quiet. It feels fragile, but also feels honest, real, alive. The soul replies, that feeling, the soft, trembling truth inside you. That is your power, not the kind that dominates, not the kind that hides, but the kind that touches. Softness is not weakness. It is the doorway to everything you've ever longed for. Because in softness, you finally stop fighting yourself. You stop resisting life. You stop bracing against the next wave of pain. And you begin to trust that you can feel it and still be whole. This is strength the world doesn't teach, but your soul remembers. The strength of holding space for your own tears. The strength of saying, I don't know, but I'm willing to learn. The strength of staying kind, even when the world forgets how to be. The strength of loving without needing to control. The strength of simply being present, open, willing. You say, but what if I get hurt again? What if I let my guard down and someone takes advantage of it? What if softness costs too much? The soul replies, softness without boundaries is self-abandonment, but softness with truth is power. You're not being asked to open yourself to anyone and everyone. You're being asked to open to yourself, to listen, to feel, to respond from awareness, not reaction. Softness doesn't mean saying yes to what breaks you. It means saying yes to what's real, even if that realness includes saying no. It means honoring your heart, not hiding it, not weaponizing it, just holding it gently in both hands. The more you soften inwardly, the more clearly you'll see outwardly. You'll begin to recognize who can meet you here and who cannot. You'll stop needing to force connections. You'll stop confusing intensity with intimacy. You'll begin to feel the quiet peace of belonging to yourself. And from that place, you can love others not from emptiness, but from overflow. You say, it feels so unfamiliar to trust this softness, to not perform, to not prove. What if I forget again? What if I go back? The soul replies. Then you return. That's all. You don't need to be perfect. You only need to be present. And when you forget, you remember again. The soul does not judge the wandering. It simply waits for your return. Again and again, with love that doesn't keep score. You're not behind. You're not late. You are exactly where you need to be because you are here. And here, in this breath, this softness, this moment, you're already home. Let the tears come if they must. Let the silence stretch. Let this softness hold you. Because this quiet, sacred space within, this is where your true strength lives. Not in the noise, not in the fight, but in the stillness that says, even in this, I am enough. Meeting yourself with new eyes. You say, I looked in a mirror today and I didn't recognize myself. Not in a dramatic way. Just something was different. Less tension in my face. Less pressure in my chest. Like a fog had lifted, even if just a little. But I also saw something else. Sadness. Tiredness. A version of me that's been holding on for so long. And I didn't know what to say to them. To me, the soul replies, say this. I see you. I honor everything you've been through. And I'm not abandoning you now. You've spent so long looking at yourself through the eyes of survival. Measuring, comparing, correcting, criticizing. But the soul sees differently. The soul looks at you, all of you, with compassion that doesn't flinch. It doesn't ask you to change. It doesn't demand perfection. It simply says, you are worthy now. The lines on your face, the ache in your voice, the questions in your heart, they are not flaws. They are proof that you have lived and tried and grown. What you see is broken. The soul sees as beautifully becoming. You say, but what about all the times I gave up on myself? The things I said to myself when I was hurting? The people I pushed away? The things I regret? Sometimes it's hard to look at myself without flinching. The soul replies, that pain? That's not shame. That's longing. Longing to be seen differently. Longing to be reclaimed. You're not defined by your hardest days. You are not the decisions you made when you were disconnected. You're not the echoes of old stories still playing in your head. You are this moment, this breath, this choice to see yourself with truth and tenderness. What if you looked at yourself the way you'd look at someone you love deeply? After they've been through something devastating, you wouldn't judge them. You'd hold them. You'd say, I'm so proud of you for still being here. Say that to yourself now. Say it as many times as you need to. Let the old narrative dissolve. Let the mirror become a window. Not just a reflection, but a doorway to something deeper. You say, I want to love myself like that, but I don't always know how. Sometimes it feels far away, like something meant for someone stronger, someone better, someone more healed than me. The soul replies, then let love start where you are, not with fireworks, not with certainty, just with a pause to breathe, to soften, to speak kindly to yourself, even if your voice shakes. This is how you build trust with your soul, not by achieving your way into worthiness, but by showing up again and again with eyes that say, I'm willing to see myself clearly. I'm willing to see the light even in the mess. You don't have to rush. You don't have to get perfect. You just have to keep looking with love. Because the moment you do, you begin to remember what was never lost. And what's waiting to rise now is not a new version of you. It's the truest version, the one who was always there, just waiting to be seen, remembering the light. You say, I don't know when it happened, when I stopped seeing the light in me. Maybe it was little by little, 1,000 tiny moments where I chose survival instead of soul, where I dimmed myself to fit in, where I made myself smaller to be safe, where I silenced my truth to keep the peace. And now, when I try to remember who I was before all of it, there's just this blank space. I miss the light, but I don't know how to find it again. The soul replies, you don't have to find it. You only need to uncover it, because your light was never lost, only hidden beneath the expectations, the disappointments, the pressure to perform, the fear of being too much or not enough. But your light, it is untouched, unchanged, unbreakable. It doesn't need to be earned. It only needs to be remembered. And you are remembering now, not with your mind, but with your heart, with the part of you that's always known. There is more to me than the noise. There is something inside me that cannot be named, but it feels like home. That's your light. That's you. You say, but what if it's too late? What if I've gone too far? What if I've been disconnected for so long that I can't find my way back? The soul replies, there is no too late for the soul. There's only now, this moment, this breath, this gentle choice to turn inward again. Your light is like the sun on a cloudy day. Even when you can't see it, it's still there, warming, waiting, steady. The clouds are real. Pain is real. Disconnection is real. But they are not the end. They are not the truth. They are not you. You are the light behind it all. The part that watches. The part that loves. The part that never left. And when you sit in stillness, even for a moment, you'll feel it. The quiet warmth. The subtle spark. The small voice that says, I'm still here. I never left you. You are more radiant than you know. You say, sometimes I feel it. A flicker, a softness, a moment of peace in the middle of everything. And it disappears so quickly, I wonder if I imagined it. The soul replies, that flicker was real. That softness was real. And the more you honor it, the more you pause, listen, breathe, the brighter it becomes. The light doesn't demand. It invites. It says, what if you didn't have to push so hard? What if being was enough? What if your light shines brightest when you stop trying to be anything at all? This isn't about becoming a different person. It's about removing the layers that were never yours, letting the false fall away, letting the truth remain. You don't have to be more. You don't have to be fixed. You only have to be present, aware, honest, open. That's what allows the light to rise again, not as a performance, but as a presence. And when that presence is felt, it changes everything, not because the world is different, but because you're seeing it with light-filled eyes, letting the old stories die. You say, I can feel it now, the gap between who I was and who I'm becoming. But I keep hearing the old voices in my head. They're familiar, too familiar. You're not enough. Don't get your hopes up. Who do you think you are to live with peace? It's like those stories are stitched into me. I've lived them for so long. I don't know who I am without them. The soul replies, that fear you feel, it's not a sign that you're broken. It's a sign that you're healing. Because when you start to awaken, the old stories don't go quietly. They whisper, they cling, they beg for relevance. Not because they're powerful, but because they're afraid of being forgotten. But the truth is they were never you. They were survival strategies, echoes of other people's pain, inherited scripts that never belonged to your soul. You are not the voice that doubts. You are the one who's watching it, listening to it, and finally questioning it. And that is everything. You say, but what if I disappoint people when I stop living by those stories? What if I stop being who they expect me to be? The soul replies, let them be disappointed. You are not born to be someone else's idea of worthy. You are born to be free. And freedom doesn't come from fighting the old story. It comes from not feeding it anymore. Don't argue with the narrative. Don't beg it to change. Just stop agreeing with it. Every time you choose rest over proving, truth over performance, stillness over self-criticism, you are rewriting the script. One moment at a time, one breath at a time. This isn't about erasing your past. It's about releasing your identification with it. You're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to outgrow the roles you once clung to. You are allowed to become someone new. And that doesn't mean the old version of you is wrong. It means you've simply reached the chapter where it no longer fits. You say, but what do I do with the pain those stories caused? The guilt, the shame, the fear? The soul replies, you feel them, without judgment, without drama, without turning them into identity. You let them rise, you let them speak, and then you let them go. They were messengers. That's all. Pain comes to be felt, not to be worshipped. You don't need to make a home inside your wounds. You can visit them, honor them, and then choose to walk forward. Your power is not in denying what happened. Your power is in saying, this shaped me, but it no longer defines me. You're not here to stay in loops of suffering. You're here to walk out of the cage you once called home. Not because it was bad, but because you're ready for sky now. This is the sacred death, not of life, but of illusion. The death of who you thought you had to be, so the truth of who you are can finally breathe, creating a new way of being. You say, if I'm not who I was, and I'm not pretending anymore, then who am I now? There's a space inside me that feels open, quiet, almost unfamiliar, and part of me wants to fill it, to rush into the next version, to figure it all out right away. But another part, a deeper part, whispers, not yet. The soul replies, that space you're feeling is not a void. It's sacred ground. It's what remains when false identities fall away. It's where something real is beginning to rise. Don't rush to rebuild. Don't rush to become. Stay here just a little longer. Let yourself be in between. This is the space of transformation. Not the doing, the becoming. You are not here to chase a new version of yourself. You are here to allow the truth to emerge, not from pressure, but from presence. Let life move through you. Let stillness shape you. Let the days be softer. Let your choices come from the inside, not the noise. You say, but how do I live like this in the real world? Where there are deadlines, responsibilities, expectations? How do I stay connected to this new way of being without drifting back into the old? The soul replies, by beginning small, by choosing presence in ordinary moments. When you wake up, pause. Place a hand on your heart. Feel that you're alive. When you speak, slow down. Let your words come from truth, not habit. When you move, breathe with intention. Let your body remember that it belongs to peace. And when the world pulls at you, because it will, return, not to perfection, but to presence. This new way of being is not about abandoning your life. It's about inhabiting it more fully. Living from your soul doesn't mean escaping. It means embodying, showing up soft, real, whole, in the middle of laundry and phone calls and chaos, and still choosing alignment, still choosing love, still choosing you. You say, but what if I forget again? What if I fall back into old rhythms, old masks, old fears? The soul replies, then you remember again. That's the rhythm of awakening. Forgetting and returning. Falling asleep and waking again. It's not failure. It's the sacred breath of the journey. There's no straight line. There's only this moment, this choice, this step. You don't need to be someone new overnight. You only need to be someone true right now. That's how the new way is built. Not with force, not with guilt, but with gentleness, with presence, with breath, and slowly, the new becomes familiar. Peace becomes natural. Love becomes your default frequency. This is how a soul reclaims a life. Not all at once, but moment by moment. So live gently. Speak truthfully. Walk slowly. You're not just building a new life. You are becoming a new world. Walking with the light. You say, there's something different now. I'm not always peaceful. I'm not always clear. I still have doubts, triggers, moments where I feel myself shrinking. But now, I catch it. I notice. And in that noticing, something soft opens up again. It's not that I've changed everything. It's that I'm finally walking with more awareness. And it feels like light, not the blinding kind, but the quiet glow I carry inside me. The soul replies, that glow is not temporary. It is your essence. You're simply letting it guide you now. Walking with the light doesn't mean you never stumble. It means you know how to return quickly, gently, without shame. You move through the world with a different compass. Not urgency, but clarity. Not performance, but presence. Not approval, but alignment. This is what changes everything. Not your circumstances, but your relationship with them. You say, sometimes I forget the light is there. When I'm stressed or angry or overwhelmed, I feel like I lose it, like I'm back to square one. The soul replies, you don't lose the light. You just turn away from it for a moment. And when you remember, even for a single breath, it's still there, waiting, unchanged, loving. You don't need to punish yourself for forgetting. You don't need to earn your way back. You simply pause, breathe, turn inward, and choose again. The light was never outside of you. It was never dependent on your perfection. It was never something to chase. It was you all along. You say, but how do I carry it when life gets loud again? When the schedule fills up? When I'm pulled in every direction? When I'm surrounded by people who don't speak this language of stillness? The soul replies, you carry the light by becoming the space. You don't need to preach. You don't need to convince. You don't need to explain your inner shift. You only need to embody it. Let your presence speak louder than your words. Let your calm become your offering. Let your choices reflect your soul. People may not understand it. That's okay. Some will feel it, even if they can't name it. Even if they don't know why, they feel safer around you. Calmer, seen. That's how light works. It doesn't demand. It simply shines. And the more you honor it, the more it illuminates everything around you. Your relationships, your decisions, your voice. You say, "It's strange. The more I listen to this part of me, the quiet, steady part, the more I feel like I'm finally living, not rushing through it, not hiding from it, but actually being here." The soul replies, "That's because you are. You're no longer outsourcing your life to noise. You're no longer measuring yourself against illusion. You're here with yourself, and that changes everything. Because when the soul is home, the world begins to feel less threatening. You don't need to control everything. You don't need to be anyone else. You can just walk, step by step, with breath, with softness, with presence. And in doing so, you don't just walk with light, you become it, returning again and again. You say, "I thought that once I reached this place, this softness, this awareness, I would stay here, that I would live forever in stillness. Always clear, always calm, always aligned." But then something small happened, a misunderstanding, a heavy day, an old trigger, and suddenly I was back in the noise, back in a rush, back in the self I thought I had already left behind. I felt like I failed, like I slipped, like maybe I wasn't as awake as I thought. The soul replies, "You didn't fail. You're not broken. You're simply human. And being human means forgetting and remembering over and over again. Awakening is not a one-time event. It's a rhythm, a returning, a sacred spiral that takes you deeper each time. You're not back at the beginning. You are revisiting the path, but with new eyes, new wisdom, new softness. Each time you return, you come home to yourself more completely. You say, "But why do I keep forgetting? If this presence, this peace, this truth is so real, why is it so easy to lose?" The soul replies, "Because the world is loud, because the past is persistent, because the ego is skilled at making noise look like importance. But every time you notice, every time you feel the dissonance between who you truly are and who you are being in the moment, that noticing is grace. You're no longer unconscious. You are awake enough to feel the misalignment. And that is everything. The goal is not to never forget. The gift is in the remembering, because every return deepens the roots. Every return strengthens the truth. Every return builds your trust in the light that never leaves. You say, "But I don't always return gracefully. Sometimes I resist. Sometimes I numb out. Sometimes I know I'm off track, and I choose to stay there anyway." The soul replies, "That's part of it, too. You are allowed to be messy. You are allowed to take the long way. You are allowed to be tender with the part of you that isn't ready. Don't turn your return into another performance. Don't spiritualize perfection. Return honestly. Return as you are. Even if you're tired, even if you're angry, even if you feel nothing. The sacred isn't waiting for your best self. It's waiting for your real self. And when you show up, even broken, even doubting, even unsure, you're already home. You say, "It sounds so simple, but living it is the real work." The soul replies, "Yes, and it's also the most beautiful work you will ever do. To wake up in the middle of your life, not just once, but every day, to catch yourself drifting and gently choose to come back. Not with shame, but with love. That's what it means to live awake. Not to avoid the fall, but to know how to rise without fear, without punishment, without hurry. Just a breath, a pause, a hand on your heart, and the simple whisper, 'I'm here again. I remember. I choose presence. You will forget, and you will remember. You will close, and you will open. You will fall asleep, and you will wake again and again and again. Each time softer, wiser, more honest, more whole. This is the path, 1,000 sacred returns, and the quiet, unshakable truth that you were never truly gone. You were always the light. Approximate 700 words. You say, after all of this, the softness, the unraveling, the remembering, the returning, I feel something I never expected. Not a grand revelation, not a perfect clarity, but a quiet knowing, a still warmth in my chest, a gentle voice that doesn't need to explain itself, a presence that feels like me. And now, the question that once screamed inside me has softened into a whisper. What if I was never lost at all? The soul replies, you weren't. You were walking. You were learning. You were shedding. You were remembering at the pace of grace. The light you longed for, the peace you chased, the home you searched for in others, in achievements, in moments of perfection. It was never outside you. It was always here, in the breath, in the pause, in the presence you were learning to trust again. You are the light, not because you earned it, not because you figured everything out, but because it's who you've always been. You say, but why didn't I see it before? Why did I spend so many years fighting, hiding, performing? The soul replies, because you were human, because you were taught to forget, because forgetting is part of the journey home. There is no shame in that. There is no wasted time, only sacred preparation. Every breakdown cracked you open. Every silence made you listen deeper. Every ache softened your walls. Every return made you real. You didn't lose time. You gathered truth. And now you carry the light differently. Not like a torch you have to hold up for everyone, but like a warmth that lives in your body, a vibration in your presence, a kindness in your eyes. You no longer need to be seen to feel real. You no longer need to be perfect to be loved, because now you know who you are. You know where home is. You know how to return. You say, so what now? What do I do with this light? How do I live from it? Truly, fully? The soul replies, you live gently. You live honestly. You speak slowly and listen deeply. You give without losing yourself. You rest without guilt. You create without fear. You walk into rooms and carry peace with you, not by force, but by being. You live as a reminder, not by teaching, not by fixing, but by becoming. You walk through the world as someone who remembers, and in doing so, you help others remember too. This is how light moves, from one breath to another, from one presence to the next. You are not here to shine perfectly. You are here to shine authentically. Let your life be soft enough for light to pass through. Let your presence be wide enough to hold the mess and the magic. Let your soul speak, not with volume, but with truth. You say, thank you for not giving up on me, for staying even when I didn't know you were there. The soul replies, I never left. I was never outside you. I was the stillness between your breaths, the ache behind your ambition, the whisper beneath your worries. I was the light in the dark, the warmth in your chest, the voice you almost ignored but finally heard. And now here we are, together, one voice, one being, one presence. Welcome home. Glowing star, final words and call to action. If this journey touched something in you, if it gave you peace, softness, or a reason to breathe a little deeper today, please share it. Let someone else feel what you felt. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Every day, we bring new content to nourish your soul, quiet your mind, and help you remember who you truly are. Because the journey home is sacred, and you never have to walk it alone. I am remembering the light. Now, let's sit together in the stillness. Let the light you've remembered settle into your breath, into your bones, into the spaces that are still soft, still open, still becoming. Breathe in deeply and exhale slowly. Let each breath carry you deeper into presence, into truth, into home. Now, repeat these words with me. Let them echo through you. Let them become you. I am the light I've been searching for. I am whole, even in my healing. I am enough, even when I'm still becoming. I'm not my past. I am the space beyond every story. I am allowed to rest. I am safe to feel. I am held by something greater, and it lives within me. I am the breath between the noise. I am the pause before the answer. I am the soul beneath the skin. I'm not separate from love. I am love, remembering itself. I am the return. I am a presence. I am the sacred that no one can take from me. I am the quiet strength that doesn't need to prove. I am free to release the old. I am free to become new. I am light, even when I forget. I'm the light, still here, still rising. Breathe in that truth and let it settle. You are not trying to become these things. You already are. You are simply remembering. Let the remembering continue. Not just now, but every day, every moment, every breath. This light you feel now, it's yours. You carry it. You are it. So go gently, go honestly, and walk as light. If this journey brought you peace, please share it and subscribe to this channel. We're here every day to nourish your soul and help you remember